When I look at today's U.S. military, my biggest concern is actually not going forward, but the past. The U.S. military has been at conflict for the longest period of time in its history, for 17 years. These conflicts can at best be called inconclusive, and I think a lot about what has the U.S. military inherited from being at war for so long. How will that influence the general officers and flag officers of tomorrow? Over the last year, a bipartisan group appointed by Congress pulled together its thoughts and reflections on the National Defense Strategy. This commission was led by Ambassador Eric Edelman, a professor here at SAIS, and Admiral Gary Roughead, who is also on the Johns Hopkins University board. I was excited to be a part of staffing this effort, and effectively what we found is that the National Defense Strategy's thrust is largely right. It says the U.S. military must be able to compete with China and Russia and prepare to wage conflict, should it be necessary, also with either of those countries. So the thrust is largely right. However, the Commission expressed some real concerns about the manifestation and implementation of this thrust, in terms of how the budget is spent, in terms of what the budget looks like, in terms of the department's willingness to try and experiment with different operational concepts as well. I think part of the reason Congress pulls together this National Defense Strategy Commission is so it can get outside views by a group of experts on how to think differently about the National Defense Strategy. Senator Inhofe, the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, has already made comments about how influential this effort will be. And I think there's a lot of evidence that at a minimum, it is helping folks think about the ways in which the National Defense Strategy makes sense and the ways in which it might want to be tweaked, particularly as it relates to its implementation.